Hi everyone, today we'll look at installing our Ziploc gutter trim. This trim doesn't use any screws. The system comprises the plastic clip which first clips onto the gutter, and then the mesh goes on. A specially designed trim goes over the top of that, and then we lock it on with the little locking plates. So we'll go through the process now. The first step is to put the clips in place. So they clip directly onto the gutter, and we just get them in approximately the right spacing. You'll notice the trims have these slots cut into it, and we aim for about 3 clips per metre. This is a 1 metre trim, which equals 1 clip, then we'll leave 7 vacant slots and then put the clip in the 7th. The clips do relocate side to side on the gutter, so you can clip it on and then sort of slide it to position. If you find an internal gutter bracket is in the way of where the clip needs to go, then obviously you just go 1 slot closer or further away just to get that clip so it can fit in, because obviously if there's a gutter bracket there, it won't go in place. So the system allows for those little obstacles that you'll come across along the way. So to start with, we can actually use a trim as a bit of a guide for the spacing. So I'll just sort of clip on this first clip about there. So you just push them on, and these little grippers on the inside just grip in under the lip of that gutter. So we'll go along, and so basically, 3, 6, and then we'll throw another clip on there. And then we'll sort of keep going along. 3, 6, another one, 7th. And if you're doing a whole roof, you may even sort of just use a piece of dowel or something that you can go along and use as a spacer, just to help get the spacings around about right. But again, it's a bit flexible. If you get that on, you can sort of slide it from side to side. So if you're coming along to put the trims on and one's not quite in the right spot, then you can slide it from side to side. 3, 6. Right, so now we've got the clips all the way along the gutter. The next step is to roll the mesh out, and the mesh will sit on top of each of the clips, but in behind each of the little spikes that are sticking up from those clips. So these spikes can actually act as a bit of a guide or a stopper to stop that mesh slipping off. If you've got an edge available, just a little spring-loaded clamp or something along those lines will help just keep that in position. We'll go and roll that all along. And yeah, just make sure it's sort of sitting in behind each of these clips. Okay, and then we'll just go along and place all the trims on. And if we got the positions in the right spot, they'll just all sort of line up. You end up with around about a 10mm overlap between the trims. So you put that in that slot, and you can see they overlap there. And that just helps just sort of keep the pressure down and looks better rather than ends misaligning. So once those trims are on, then we'll grab the locking plates, and they just push down and they ratchet down onto these spikes. So we'll grab a few of those, just with the little lip to the outside, and we'll just push that down, push it down, and you give it a little extra push just in here until you hear that last little click. So it kind of goes down and feels tight, but then there's that little bit of bounce at the end, and you just give it an extra little push and you hear a click. Then you know you've got it fairly tight against the mesh, keeps it nice and secure. Okay, so that's all on, and that's all gripping that mesh in there nice and securely. The last stage is just to trim the spikes off once that's all on. So the best tool for that's a pair of side cutters, and we'll just go along and give them all a trim. And then that's finished. And just as an extra note, if you do need to lift the mesh for whatever reason and take a trim off, The clips have a little tongue down inside there, and just a small flathead screwdriver is usually the best tool, just to get in there, just to back off that little spring tab. And then those locking plates lift back off again. And then you can take a few off, take that trim off, lift the mesh if you do need to access the gutter, and then they still go on. Even though they don't have the tall spike, they still go over what's left there, and they go back on just like new. That's the process. Thank you.